All right, we're going to tighten the core, tighten the glutes, and stretch the hip flexors. Our stretching with the hip flexors are going to be 30 seconds each, and then our strengthening exercises are going to be 10 reps each, 3 times through. So we're first going to start with a hip flexor stretch, and you're going to start on your back. We're going to keep it real simple here. So with a hip flexor stretch, you're going to have both legs out long, pull one knee in towards the chest, and reach the bottom leg away from you. This is going to be a 30-second stretch. That way it's not too long that it takes up the whole day, but it's long enough to receive the benefits. Relax the hip flexor and imagine that it's just loosening and relaxing. Pull the knee in a little bit tighter. The leg is reaching away. Relax the bottom leg. Hold this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Pull the knee in. Bottom leg is reached away. Press the knee down. Relax the hip flexor. Doing your best to release tension in your hips, your glutes, your quads, and your hip flexors. Just relax. Holding this one for a total of 30 seconds. And we only have 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're now going to go into pelvic tilts, glute bridges, and heel slides. Pelvic tilts are going to help to strengthen your core without causing any more disruption in the abs. So with a pelvic tilt, you're going to notice that underneath the back is a natural arch. What we're trying to do is push that arch down against the ground, and then we're going to release it. So as you push down, you're creating this posterior tilt. The top hip bones are pulled in towards the chest, and your low back is pressed down. So we're going to do 10 reps like that. Relax the upper body, feet are flat, press the low back down, hold it, and then release it. Press down, hold, release. We have 10 total. Press down, hold, release, press down, hold. Now focus on pulling the muscles in towards the center. Release, press down, hold, release, press down, hold, pull the muscles in and release. We have 3 more. Press down, hold, pull the muscles in, release. 2 more. Press down, hold, release. Last one. Press down, hold, and release. Going to go into heel slides to strengthen the core. Press your low back down for that posterior tilt and keep it there. Don't let anything slide underneath that low back. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our heels, we're going to slide one out at a time and pull it back in. Slide it against the ground and pull it back in. Keep the low back pressed down, slide the foot out and in, low back pressed down, slide out and in. Now take your fingers on top of your abs, and I want you to feel your abs working as your heels slide out and in. Pull the muscles in towards the center, pressing your heel down. If you're not able to keep your low back pressed down during these heel slides, don't take the leg out as far. Only take the leg out as far as you can, as long as the low back stays pressed down. So keep the focus on the abs, pulling the muscles in towards the center. 3 more slides on each leg. Press the back down, slide out, pull in, out, in, out, in. 1 more each leg, out, in. Last one, out and in. All right, we're going to go through the pelvic tilt, glute bridges, and heel slides for round 2. Remember, we have 3 rounds total. Back into pelvic tilts. Remember, push the low back against the ground and then release it. We have 10 total. And starting in 3, 2, 1, press down, pull the muscles in, release, that's 1. Press down, pull the muscles in, release, 2. Down, hold, release, 3, down, hold, release, 4, down, hold, release, 5, down, hold, whole spine, press down, release, 6, down, hold, release, 7, down, hold, keep pulling the muscles in. That's 8, down, hold, release. That's 9, last one, down, hold, release, and 10. Into glute bridges. Neutral spine, push the hips up, squeeze the glutes together, back down, barely touch, push up for 2, down, barely touch, push up for 3, down, barely touch, up for 4, squeeze, down, barely touch, up for 5, push from the glutes, not the low back, up for 6, down, up, squeeze, and that's 7, down, up, squeeze, and that's 8, down, up, squeeze, and that's 9, down, up, squeeze, and that's 10. Heel slides. Press the spine down, slide the heel out, in, that's 1, out, in, other leg, out, in for 2, out, in, that's 3, out, in for 4. Keep the abs pulled in and the spine pressed down. That's 5, out, in, that's 6, out, in for 7, out, in for 8, spine down, abs pulled in. One more each side, and then repeat one more time. All right, recover. We have one more round of pelvic tilts, glute bridges, and heel slides, and then we're moving on. So remember, pelvic tilt, natural arch in the low back. You're going to press it down, pulling the hip bones in, creating a posterior tilt. We have 10 of these. Here we go. Press down, release, that's 1. Down, release, that's 2. Keep the abs pulled in, release, that's 3. Down, release for 4. Down, release for 5. Down, release for 6. Down, release for 7. Push down the spine, release for 8. Push down the spine, release for 9. Push down, release for 10. You're down pelvic tilts. Going into glute bridges, using your glutes only. Heels down, push up, lower, that's 1. Up, squeeze, lower for 2. Up, squeeze, lower for 3. Up, squeeze, lower for 4. Focus on the glutes, doing all the work. Up, squeeze, lower for 6. Up, squeeze, lower for 7. Up, squeeze, lower for 8. Up, squeeze, lower for 9. Up, squeeze, lower for 10. Done with glute bridges. Now we're going in those heel slides. Spine down, posterior tilt, and we're going to slide out one heel at a time. Do not let that low back come up. Remember to focus on the abs being pulled in. We're going to slide out, in for 1, out, in for 2, out, in for 2, out, in for 2. Now we go out, in for 3, out, in for 3, out, in for 4, out, in for 4, out, in for 5. Keep the low back down, out, in for 6, out, in for 6. Abs pulled in for 7, out, in for 7, out, in for 8, out, in for 9, out, in for 10, out, in for 9. Oh, I think I messed up your counting. In for 10, out, in for 10. Okay, so we've stretched the hip flexors, we've done pelvic tilts, we've done glute bridges, and we've done heel slides. We're now going to go into our next little mini circuit. We're going to stretch the hip flexors for 30, and then we're going to strengthen for 10 reps 3 times through. Going into a kneeling hip flexor, I want you to start in a tabletop position. So your wrists are underneath you, your knees are underneath your hips. You're going to pull one foot forward by the hand. The knee is still underneath you. Allow yourself to move forward into that front leg and push your hips down. You're going to feel that stretch in the hip flexor of that bottom leg. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Relax the hip flexor. Allow it to loosen up. If you're not feeling this in that bottom leg, move yourself forward a little bit more and squeeze your glutes down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Go back on that tabletop. Keep the belly button pulled in. Pull the other foot up by the hand. Lean your body forward into that front leg. Squeeze your glutes down. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor of that bottom leg. Relax the hip flexor. Holding this one for 30 seconds. Allowing it to release and loosen. If this stretch feels really good, just pause the video and go through these stretches again. This kneeling hip flexor stretch. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're going to go into our strengthening exercises, which is going to be a modified plank or a TVA draw. So transverse abdominis draw in. You're going to be in this plank position. Allow your spine to do what it does. So we're not trying to push the spine up. Don't do that if you have DR. You're just going to allow the hips to sag naturally, and you're just going to pull the belly button in towards the spine. You're not going to be able to see any movement on me because this is all happening from the core. So I'm pulling my belly button in towards the spine without moving my body. We're going to do 10 reps of this. Pull the belly button in towards the spine, kind of like what it feels like if you're coughing or sneezing. Pull the belly button in and release it. Pull it in, pull the muscles together and release. Pull it in for 3, out. Pull it in for 3, out. Pull it in, I think this is 5, and out. Pull it in for 6, and out. You just stay focused on pulling the belly button in and out. That was 7. Pull it in and out. That's 8. In, just like you're sneezing. Pull the muscles in and out. 1 more, in and out. All right, we're going to strengthen the glutes by going into a clamshell. Now, with a clamshell, if you have the band, you're going to put the band, you can start without the band if you're first starting off. And once those clamshells get easy without the band, then you'll put the band on, all right? So the band would go above your knees. Now, without the band, you're going to start in this side, modified side plank. So look, the elbow is underneath the shoulder. My head is in a line from my head down to my hips and my knees. Tighten the obliques, pull the obliques in, make sure you're in a straight line. You're going to keep your ankles together and just open this knee towards the ceiling, okay? So you're going to flatten the knees together, open, squeeze the glute, the top glute, and lower. So we're going to do 10 of those on this side. All right, so plank on the side, make sure that your elbow is underneath your shoulder, ankles are stacked, and we're going to pull the knee up, squeeze, lower, that's 1, up, squeeze, lower, that's 2. Focus on the top glute doing the work. It's actually the gluteus medius that's doing the work on this one. Up, squeeze, lower, that's 5, up, lower for 6, up, lower for 7, up, lower for 8, up, squeeze, lower for 9, up, squeeze, lower for 10. Whoa, that one got me. My glute medius needs some work. All right, now we're going to go to the other side. Remember, elbow underneath, straight line. Tighten the obliques, Even out your chest, shoulders facing forward. Ankles are together, knees are together. Open the knees, squeeze the glutes. This side's a lot easier for me. All right, open, squeeze, lower, that's 1. Open, squeeze, lower, that's 2. Open, squeeze, lower for 3. Open, squeeze. Reminder to keep the belly button pulled in. Open, squeeze, lower for 5. Open, squeeze, lower for 6. Open, squeeze, lower for 7. Open, squeeze, lower for 8. Open, squeeze, lower for 9. Open, squeeze, lower for 10. All right, you've seen it, you've done it. Let's go back into that hip flexor stretch because I feel like you might really be wanting it and needing it. So let's do the hip flexor stretch one more time, 30 seconds. So back to the hip flexor. Your knee is going to start in that tabletop, pull the foot in, knee is down, push your body forward, really squeeze your hips forward. If you want to make this more advanced, you come off your hands, all right? If that's too much, go back to your hands. Feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Remember to relax. Hold this for 30, and you're already halfway there. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to that tabletop. Other leg comes forward. Plant the foot. Squeeze the glutes. Allow your hips to push down. Remember, if you're not feeling it, squeeze the glutes harder, or you can move that back knee further back. Holding this for 30 seconds. If you just are loving the stretch, you can do this stretch 3 times a day if you want. I always recommend morning, afternoon, and especially at night. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go into that TVA draw. So in that tabletop position, remember to allow your spine just to do what it does. We're not pushing up and we're not sagging down, just neutral spine. Pull the belly button in like you're coughing. Hold and release. That's 1. Pull it in, release for 2. Pull it in, release for 3. In, release for 4. In, release for 5. In, release for 6. In, release for 7. In, release for 8. In, release for 9. In, release for 10. Clamshells. Lay on your side. Find your modified side plank. Elbow underneath you. Pull the obliques in. Knees, ankles together. We're going to open and close. So open, squeeze, lower for 1. Open, squeeze, lower for 2. Open, squeeze, lower for 3. Focus on the glutes, the glute medius doing the work here. Squeeze, open for 5. Open, squeeze, lower for 6. Open, squeeze, lower for 7. Open, squeeze, lower for 8. Open, squeeze, lower for 9. Open, squeeze, lower for 10. Other side. Set yourself up. Tighten the obliques. Pull yourself together. Muscles pulled in. Here we go. Open, squeeze, lower 1. Open, squeeze, lower 2. Open, squeeze, lower 3. Open, squeeze, lower 4. Open, lower 5. Open, lower 6. Open, lower 7. Open, lower 8. Open, lower 9. Last one. Open, and lower 10. Awesome. All right, let's go through that strength training one more time. Modified plank with that TVA draw. So or your tabletop with TVA draw. Now, knees underneath you, arms underneath you, shoulders on top of the wrist. Remember, you're just pulling your belly button in. Imagine that the muscles in your abs are pulling together. Pull the belly button in like you're coughing. And here we go. Pull it in. Hold, release for 1. Hold, release for 2. Hold, release for 3. Hold, release for 4. Hold, release for 5. Hold, release for 6. Hold, release release for 7, hold, release for 8, hold, release for 9, hold, release for 10. All right, last time with clams. Here we go. Find the side plank. Remember, obliques up, abs pulled in, muscles pulled together, stack the knees and ankles. Now, if you want to add more resistance, you can always use that top hand, okay? All right, here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1, open 10 times. Open, squeeze. That's 1. Open, squeeze. That's 2. Open, squeeze. For 3, open, squeeze. 4, open, squeeze. Focus on the glutes. Open, squeeze. For 5, open, squeeze. For 6, open, squeeze. For 7, open, squeeze. For 8, open, squeeze. For 9, last one. Watch this. Don't let it go. Pulse up top. So just little movements. Oh, just thought I'd throw some fun in for you. Here we go. We're almost done. We got 4 more pulses. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Why not? All right, other side. This is it. Last 10 reps, okay? All right, let's do it. Find that side plank. Open and squeeze. Here we go. Open, squeeze. 1, open, squeeze. 2, open, squeeze for 3, open, squeeze for 4, open, keep everything pulled in, ab pulled in, open, squeeze for 6, pull from the glutes, squeeze for 7, open, squeeze for 8, open, squeeze for 9, open, don't let it drop, 10 pulses, pulse up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There you go. All right, you made it through your stretching and your strengthening. I hope this helps you. And when you're ready to modify up, just let me know when you're ready to advance it. So go through this 2 times a day if you can. You can go at your own pace. It might go a little bit quicker, it might go a little bit slower, but in order to see improvements and really get the benefits, twice a day. Okay, good luck.